Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! Seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead! Behind the screen, Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Tying run at second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it, and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5.
For the 3rd time in 6 seasons, it's one goal achieved. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it through to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on YouTube, our YouTube channel, excellent. All right. You should be subscribed to our YouTube channel, okay? And if you're not, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, okay? But also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, you can also tweet the show. Tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's C-H-I, at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. You want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did before hackers got involved. I tried for you folks. But my Facebook account, which I still don't have access to, is Shawn.Sierra.2025. My Twitter account is at ShawnSierra33. But Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, that is still at the Shawn Sierra. Now, I got a great show, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here on the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around, and that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let's check the chat, because the chat is jumping already. Wow. Cornelius Squalls, what up? He says, top of the morning, Shawn. Sports Zone is Bears football is back. Bear down on FGB. What? FGB. Brandon, sorry about your grandmother. Hope she gets better since she's in the hospital. Prayers up to your grandma. Levette Lee checking in. It's hump day, y'all. FGB. What? FGB. My man, Mr. Shorty, is in the house. Top of the morning to y'all. Top of the morning to you, Mr. Shorty. Mr. Southside himself, Michelle Walls in the Mickey Ficky house. What up on a hump day? Bear down, FGB, and SSSU, Southside. Stand up. Man, we haven't been standing up the last couple nights, and it's been a little frustrating, a little annoying. Levette, don't start with this nonsense. Please, please stop. Please stop. Thank you. Thank you very much. Listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know this. More of the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. Listen, we got a great show for you today, my man. One of my mans in them. I only got a couple. It's Ken Davis, Herb Howard, and Glenn Morgan. Those are the only guys. Oh, and Emilio Bucks. Those four. My man's in them. Today we got my man Glenn Morgan, Bears analyst, coming on. We're going to talk Bears football. The boys are back. You saw the thumbnail? All right, the boys are back. Cue up the bus boys for all of you old enough to know what I'm talking about. And there's some question marks. There's some question marks, and I'm looking forward to talking about those today. Okay? So when you got big shoulders, you got to adjust. All right? You got to adjust because a lot of times your shirts get caught underneath your shoulder or in your shoulder thing right there. Yeah, sorry. I got big shoulders. It gets frustrating. It looks sloppy. I didn't like the way it looked. But anyway, we got some questions we want to talk about, we want to discuss. All right, as the Bears head into the second year of the Ben Johnson regime. Say that 5 times really fast. All right, Caleb's second year under this new system, which I'm happy about. All right, I'm happy about it. They got year 1 out of the way. And like I said before, like I said last year, next year, which is now, we won't be having this conversation when the first team's getting kicked off because they couldn't remember the plays and the setup and the cadence and all that stuff. That's over and done with. That's over and done with. The learning of the new offense is done. Okay, now they have it down. Okay, now they can build off of that. Now they can add some new wrinkles, some cool stuff. All right, the only people that need to learn the new offense are the new players, but hell, they'd have to learn it anyway. But the majority of the players don't have to learn this new offense, which, as we said before, is huge. Okay, you can just go right into playing football, building off what they built last year, and going from there. Okay. It's interesting when you hear people talking about cadence and things like that, and like who don't even know what cadence is. Like I sit there. It's just interesting when you hear people talking about stuff that they have no idea, okay, what they're talking about. And I digress. But yeah, Glenn Morgan, 10 o'clock, going to be one heck of a conversation. I am really looking forward to that today. As the Bears, I believe they're on the practice field already. I believe they started at 8:30 this morning. I could be mistaken. Don't hold me to that. Yeah. Black Diamond checking in. What's up, Papa? He says, top of the morning, gang. FGB. Kyler better get his ass in gear because Ryan and Ben's patient is razor paper thin. Yeah. They just gave him a lot of money before last season. And he played in what? 4 games last year? They gave him a lot of money. King Booker World checking in. Says, salute Shawn Levette, Corny, Shorty, Michonne, Brandon. Yeah, they gave him a lot of money. Although all the guarantees are gone after next year, I want to say. But still, Kyler Gordon is a guy that they were really, really looking forward to as being a key weapon on that defense. A key weapon. I think Dennis Allen showed his hand when he mentioned him and how excited he was to coach Kyler Gordon and to deploy him in a multitude of ways. And it hasn't come to pass because he's played in 3 games. AC Adam, good morning, Papa. Thank you for checking in. It says, bear down, sports owners. Bear down. King Booker World says, even if Kyler plays all 17, I think he's Swayze after the season. That press conference said a lot without saying much. Well, if he stays, give me 14 games. Give me 13 or 14 games, and I'll be happy. All right, just about everybody misses time. Give me 13 or 14 games, and I think they'll be happy. But, man, the frustration is real. You know, here's the – so somebody asked Ben Johnson yesterday, what would be your message to Kyler Gordon? My question is, why are you doing that? Because now you're just starting shit. Because do you see Ben Johnson as the kind of guy who is going to bite his tongue? Do you see Ben Johnson as the kind of guy who's not going to go up to you and say, I need this from you? Do you see Ben Johnson as the kind of guy who says, I don't want to hurt a player's feelings? Because I don't. So when they said, what's your message to him? Ben should have said, I gave him the message. And the follow-up would have, what was that message? Well, that's between he and I. That's between the two of us. But when he said, get healthy, yeah, he was frustrated. He's frustrated. And the crazy part that I wasn't aware of is that he was here all offseason working at the Bears facility. However, what they're saying, from my understanding, it's a calf injury, and it is not very serious. And if it's not very serious, okay. It's just the optics. Let's be honest. When are they going to be hitting? I don't know, 4 or 5 practices from now? Because today they're not hitting. Next couple of days they're not hitting. So say he hits. Say he's full go on Wednesday. Hell, next Thursday. Okay, so he misses the opening of the camp. Fine. Stay your ass healthy the rest of the year. We'll be good. You know, it's just the optics of you every year, and especially now that you got a big contract extension, you're not healthy. And this is not a situation where it's a choice of his, but nonetheless, it's frustrating on both sides. Because I would love to see what Kyler Gordon could do in a 14 to 17 game season. I highly doubt he'll be good all 17 games. But I would love to see what he could do. I would love to see how Dennis Allen deploys this young man. This young man is awesome. He's a great nickelback. He's very, very, he's one of the top, if not the best nickel corner in the league. He's definitely top 3. AC Adams is SuperBack, 100%. The Bears are being smart with all their injury-prone guys. Yeah, they are. You put them on the list so they don't have to practice, and you get them back healthy. Because, truth, let's be honest. Let's keep it a buck. As annoyed as we all are about them missing the starter camp, do you really give a rat's ass if he comes back 100% next week? Do you care? No, I don't. Which is why I said it's just the optics of it. In the long term, the big picture, if he misses the first 4 or 5 days of camp because of a soft tissue injury and plays the rest of the season, who's going to care? It's just something for us to talk about. Again, just the optics of you continually being hurt with soft tissue injuries. But the Bears are being smart. Hey, listen. Take as much time as you need now, because when you hit that field, I better see you get injured. I better see someone take your knee out or you pull your hamstring or something. Like, your ass better be on that field A lot more than not. Because the Bears have invested a lot of money in that young man. He's good at what he does. He's very good at what he does when healthy. And you can see the frustration because some of the frustration, especially from Ben not just being the head coach, but also being the offensive play caller, like, man, you could really help my offense out with your presence on defense. You could be a big help. King Booker World says, I hope it works out. I really like that kid. I do too. I do as well. It's just he's got to be able to stay healthy. So if you look at that draft, they already got rid of Jaquan Brisker. And are you next, Kyler Gordon? I don't know. That would be their first 2 picks in that draft in the 2022 draft? Was this the 2022 draft? 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, the 2022 draft. The first 2 selections will be off the team. One got an extension, and one was here only 4 years. So I'm fired up about football season being here. I'm fired up. I think it's the best time of the year. And let's remember, let's not get overboard. Let's not get like the meathead fans that there are for our team, for the Bears. All right? Like I said, if he comes back, I'm talking about Kyler Gordon. If he comes back next week and plays the majority of the season, we're going to forget about this. About him not. That'll be water under the bridge, no big deal. It's just a big deal. People are making it a huge deal. It's a big deal now. I wouldn't say it's a huge deal, especially since my understanding is that it's a calf injury. I don't know if he strained it. But man, you can come back from that in a week. Because you know they're staying off it. You know they're stretching it. You know they're massaging it. You know they're electric stimulation, stem machine, all right, to get it back to 100%. So it's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. It's not the end of the world. Let's be honest. We're not the only team in the NFL that has guys who are on the PUP list. And I know we don't really care about it, but if you just look and you say, okay, we're par for the course. We have some guys on the PUP list. We didn't really want them there, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And what that does is that provides opportunity for other people. Okay, Shamar Turner, man, we gotta get you healthy, Papa. We gotta get you healthy. All right, you can't. I know you had that season-ending knee injury last year. Hopefully, you're able to get back on the field sooner than later. People are looking to see how well you can, if you can transition. You go from being a stud to being a stud at this level. And you have a good mentor in Grady Jarrett at your disposal. Grady Jarrett, you're not coming off an injury this season like you did last year. You should be completely healthy. Okay, now here's a perfect time for you to lead in that locker room. And I'm not saying you didn't lead last year. I'm sure you did. But there's a difference when you lead and you don't perform, and you lead and you become a playmaker. There's a big difference. Okay, show these young bucks how to go about their business. Okay, and they see it pay off. Okay, because if you go about your business a certain way and it doesn't pay off, the impact isn't as lasting or as in moving. But when you go about your business and you're a playmaker, the things you say, the things you do become magnified and become more entrenched in the young person's psyche as they build their routine to be a professional, a productive professional. So they can look at you and say, okay, this is what this guy did. He did this, this, and this. This is how he prepared. Look what it did for him. Here's what I'm gonna try this. It happened. Hey, I pushed cars in Marquette Park before my senior year of high school. Why? Because John Foley, who I went to St. Rita Grammar School with and St. Rita High School with, was the Gatorade National Defensive Player of the Year his senior year at St. Rita, my freshman year. Prior to that, what he would do is he would push an old, now mind you, this is in the 80s. For him, it was the mid-80s. For me, it was the late 80s. The cars were made a lot different, a lot more steel. He used to push a car around the inner drive at Marquette Park. He'd have his dad in the car in neutral, and he'd push it. And so I said, well, listen, if this is one of the reasons he's the best player in the country, why he's so strong, why people can't block him, why he can run as fast as he can, why he can take on blocks. If this is what he's doing, and guess what? I should probably be doing the same. And so before my senior year, sure, that's exactly what I did. I'd push car around the inner drive of Marquette Park a quarter of the way, like just half. And my mom would be in the car. She'd be sitting there in neutral, radio on, and I'd be pushing. Okay. Why? Because what he did worked. What he did allowed him to shed blockers, all right, chase down running backs, knock people out, take out fullbacks. I saw how productive it was. So I wanted to do the same. I wanted to be productive, except on the opposite side of the ball. As a running back, as a fullback. And it happens at every level. So again, with Grady Jarrett, if you're healthy and you're able to be productive, what you would have done is you will have set up the Bears big time, because now these youngsters will see you preparing and see you succeeding and see you being a factor. And they'll say, well, shit, this guy does it. Look what it does for him. I got to do it. So good luck to Grady Jarrett, because if he has a successful year, and remind you, he's not going to play 75, 80% of the snaps. No, he's too old. But if when they put him in on third down or passing situations and he's productive, wow. That will speak volumes, and that'll show the youngsters underneath him how to prepare. So big training camp for Grady Jarrett, because Grady Jarrett was a Pro Bowler in his prime. He's not going to recapture it, but there could be flashes of it. You know, there's that country song, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm good once as I once was. Man, we know how that is. One time. We ain't 25 anymore. Now it's one time, one good time, and it's it. And Grady Jarrett, it'll be specific times. It'll be third down, second and long, third and long, or just third down period. Passing situations. Okay, now Grady Jarrett, because you're not playing the majority of the snaps, I need you to be productive. And again, if he does, it sets up this team. It sets the perfect example for the youngsters, for the GervonDexterSr, who's in a contract year. Okay, for the Big Nev, who they just signed. All right, for the Austin Bookers of the world. For the Vanilla Gorillas of the world. The Vandenberg they signed out from South Africa. Okay? Sets the tone, sets a great example for these youngsters. And when he's gone after next season or after this season, he will depart having embedded in these young men a work ethic that is nothing short of Pro Bowl caliber. And that's what you want from your players. You want a work ethic that is nothing short of Pro Bowl. You know, it's funny, every year, I trained hard every single year that I played, especially when I was playing back here in Chicago with the Chargers and the Thunder. And every year I came into training camp. Now, mind you, I was most likely the starter. After my first year of the Chargers, I wasn't the starter because obviously they don't know who you are, whatever. I had a resume. They knew I played college ball. They knew I played in Italy. So I got a lot of tick. I didn't get to start, but I got a lot of majority of the carries. But after the subsequent seasons, I was a starter. But in my mind, I trained like I was trying to make the team. I trained like I was trying to make the team. And that mentality worked for me. And this is the mentality that some of these youngsters, if they adopt it, could be very beneficial and could provide them with a long career. You know, people always asked Jerry Rice. I said Jerry Rice was, every year he came in the camp in great shape. He was finishing first in sprints. He was doing everything that a rookie would do. And someone asked him, one of the reporters asked him one time, why do you go so hard? You're Jerry Rice. He said, because there's someone out there. He goes, I'm trying to make the team. There's someone out there who's younger, faster than me, and I have to beat them out. This is coming from a first ballot Hall of Famer, and that was the mentality. His work ethic in the offseason was second to none. The work ethic in the offseason for this Bears team has to be second to none. Has to be. Because if it is, this is the beginning, well, last year's the beginning, it's a continuation of a great organization, of a great era for this organization, for this charter franchise. The beginning of a great era, a continuation, because that last year was a great beginning. Last year was a great beginning, so I can't say this is the beginning. It's a continuation. So we're going to talk more at 10 o'clock with our guy, Glenn Morgan. We got some, let's get a crack-a-lackin'. First segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
First top of the morning topic. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? I will start here with you schmucks. Man, big time win yesterday for the Cubs. Man, the Cubs trounced St. Louis Cardinals 10-2. Colin Ray, he got the win. He's 8-7. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 free passes, 2 punch outs. Seiya Suzuki 3 for 5. Notching his 18th double and his 59th and 60th RBIs of the season. Ian Happ was 2 for 4 with 2, not 1, but 2 baggers. His 19th and 20th doubles of the season and 2 RBIs. 2 hits, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. It's a nice day at the office for Nico Horner. He drove in his 46th and 47th runs of the year. Nico Horner was 1 for 4, driving in his 49th and 50th on the campaign. Staying with the Cubs, the next top of the morning topic, the Cubs, they continue their series down in the Lou. First pitch tonight is at 6:45 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on the Marquee Network or listen to it on their flagship station 104.3 FM or 670 AM. The Score. The probables for tonight's game for the Cubs. Northsiders will trot out Matthew Boyd. He's 6-1 with a 3.81 ERA. He's going up against Dustin May for the Redbirds, who's 5-7 with a 4.59 ERA. 4.59 ERA. Cubs are playing some good ball. They're putting the lumber company is back. Power company is back back up and running on the north side. Seiya Suzuki. Remember, I told you guys it's going to be. It might take a minute, but guys are going to start hitting. Seiya's hitting. Dansby seems to have fallen off a little bit, but you still got PCA hitting. Michael Bush hitting. Alex Bregman hitting. Seiya Suzuki hitting. Ian Happ hitting. PCA hitting. All right, so these guys are. It's here. It's just. Milwaukee just keeps winning as well. And that's the unfortunate part for you guys. All right. Next, top of the morning topic. My good guys, man, they are struggling. They are struggling. My good guys, they lost to the Evil Empire yesterday for the second night in a row. The New York Yankees beat my boys 3-2. Anthony Kay was on a bump. He got the loss. He's 7-5. He went 5 1/3, 5 hits. 3 earned runs, 1 free pass, 7 punch outs. The Southsiders were held scoreless to the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs. Chase Mydroff steps in, gets his only hit of the game. He was 1 for 4. It was a home run, a 2-run homer at the bottom of the ninth, cutting the lead to 3-2, driving in his 39th and 40th runs of the season. Brady Montgomery, 2 for 3. Munetaka Murakami was 1 for 4 with a double, his 9th of the year. Next top of the morning topic, staying with the White Sox, the good guys. The good guys on the south side, though. The White Sox host the Yankees again tonight at Wright Field. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on CHSN or the U, Channel 26, the U. Or you can listen to it on their flagship station, ESPN 1000. That's 1000 AM. The probables for tonight's game for the Yankees, Cam Schlittler. He's 10-6 with a 2.07 ERA. Going up against our guy, Davis Martin, who's 9-5 with a 3.49 ERA. For my guy Rick Gonzalez, the next top of the morning topic, the Sky hosts the Connecticut Sun tomorrow at Wintrust Arena. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on the U as well, just like the Sox game tonight. Tomorrow you can catch the Sky on the U. And the last top of the morning topic, I'm fired up about this one. The boys are back. Cue up the bus boys. The Bears are back in camp. Their first practice today. They're actually on the field right now as we speak. The practice was at 8:30. Good to have the boys back. We are so much happier as a city. And we've been pretty happy. Okay, we've been pretty happy. We just had a great NBA draft getting Caleb Wilson. We have our White Sox surprisingly in first place. The Cubs surprisingly atop the wild card, fighting for first place in their division. We just re-signed Patrick Kane to the Blackhawks. So there's a lot going. It wasn't the normal offseason, at least for Southsiders. Cubs have been playing okay and made the playoffs. Okay, and so you had that to focus on. Sox fans, we really didn't have much to focus on until this year. So it made the offseason a lot more tolerable because we're watching our good guys win night in and night out. It's here now. I mean, we're coming up to the trade deadline for baseball. Monday, 5 p.m., I believe. Both teams need arms. They need starting pitching. They need relievers. The White Sox just made a move for a Pittsburgh pitcher, with Gidi. Probably most likely coming out of the bullpen. The Cubs need to make a move. Sox need to make another move. And go from there, because they're going to have, if you want to go deep into the playoffs, you're going to need arms. You're going to need arms. And right now is this series for the Southsiders is a good litmus test for where they are. And right now they are not passing. If you want to be a serious contender, and I'll tell you what, this series might be the one to decide whether or not the Sox are buyers. Okay? This could very well be the series. Why? Because if you're Rick Hahn, I'm sorry, excuse me, Chris Getz, that's my faux pas. If you're Chris Getz, do you want to give up some of your assets, some of your prospects now, when you know you're not going to be able to get past the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Rays? Do you want to do that? Or do you want to let your prospects develop, let your team grow as a team, play well again next year like they did this year, and then make a move at that point? Because the one thing that is said is the American League is down. You have 4 teams that are probably good: the Yankees, the Rays, the White Sox, maybe the Astros. Who's out? Who's all that in the West? Who's coming out of the West right now? Texas, 55 and 52. They're only 3 games over 500. Okay. So Tampa, the Yankees, maybe Boston, us, Cleveland, Texas. Not a lot of good teams in the American League. But if you realize you're not at the top of those few good teams, do you really want to make a move? Because I understand going for it all is important, because every season is its own entity, and you don't waste opportunities. Remember, I changed my tune a little bit. I wanted them to sit pat, but if there's a chance for us to go get it, then go get it. Make the moves accordingly, and go get it. But if you're facing the Yankees now, if we don't split this series, I don't expect Chris Getz to make a move. I expected him to let this play out, let these guys develop more chemistry, get into the playoffs, get as far as they go, lose to the Rays or the Yankees in whatever series, whatever round they play them in, and call it a day. If we do come back and win this series, and then win the series with the Rays, let me double check, because this is a stretch. It's a crazy stretch. Yeah, we're at Tampa Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're off Monday. Then we're at Boston. And then the Guardians. So this is a key stretch. If we can come out with a winning record or 500 record, then we might be a buyer. And not a big-time buyer. All right, we're not giving up one of our top 5 or 10 prospects. But see what we can get on the cheap, which is part of the problem. You know, if we come out of this stretch with the Yankees, Rays, Red Sox, Guardians with a 500 or better record, then yeah. Now, mind you, we're going to have to decide by Monday, Monday at 5 o'clock. And that means we're only going to be able to play the Yankees and the Rays. So the Yankees, so if we win, we got to win the next two, and we got to take the series from the Rays for us to be serious buyers. Otherwise, they're going to stand pat. Just no. The Cubs need an arm as well. Cubs need an arm as well. All right, the Cubs are hitting their stride right now. Okay, hitting the end of the summer. It's a good time for it. You're starting to see a very potent team. And I'll tell you what, even if the Cubs don't win the division, which Milwaukee is making it extremely difficult for them to do, even if the Cubs do not win their division, I'll tell you what, they are going to be a team to reckon with. I know you still got to go through the Dodgers, who have the best record in baseball, 67-39 with a 632 winning percentage. They're the only team. Nope, they have a 632, and Milwaukee is a 623 winning percentage. See, in the last 10 games, the Cubs are 6-4, Milwaukee 7-3. What I tell you, you just can't gain any ground. The Cubs are still 6 games back. So the Cubs are going to be a team you're not going to want to face in the playoffs. You're not going to want to face them because they're going to be one of the hottest teams, and they just happen to be playing in the same division as one of the best teams in baseball. Probably the second best team in baseball in the Milwaukee Brewers. But with the talent that the Cubs have and the fact that they're riding high and hot, they're going into the playoffs. They could be going into the playoffs hot. Yeah. It could be interesting. Interesting. So I'm fired up about it, about the way the baseball teams are playing. All right. It's good to finally have both teams doing something. You know, both teams doing something. Cubs have been a lot more active and been a lot more successful recently. And congratulations to them. Boo to their goofy fan base, but congratulations to them. And my White Sox, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic that they are where they are. But now they have to really step up. They gotta do a better job against better pitching. Okay, this Yankee team has a really, really good rotation, as we've seen. Garrett Cole yesterday was at 5 innings, 6 innings of shutout ball. They didn't score until there were 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. And that was a home run. That was it. And the guy they just brought up, let me tell you something. This dude pissed me off. When he first came back, he's come back from injury. He was on the IL. Comes back from the IL, and I watched him, and this dude's swinging at everything. swinging at everything. All right, Everson Pereira, he came in and pinch hit. He came in and pinch hit for Drew Romo. But this guy swings at everything. And they had 2 strikes on him, down and away. Strike 3, game over. But anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome our man, Glenn Morgan, and we are going to talk Bears football much to the content of my peoples. All right, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago.
Operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
How long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe. But some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American airman kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
Few things about training camp that just get me going. The first one is our team. Obviously, this is our chance to forge our identity. And a lot of coaches come up and they say we're going to be this, we're going to be that, and the other, and yet this is where it all happens. This is we got a whole different group of guys than we did a year ago, and this is where it gets fun. Is call it half the roster was here, half the roster is new. There's a lot of getting to know each other. And yet, it's a chance for us to create a new chapter of Chicago Bears football, the 2026 versions. Get healthy. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we stocked back up in that DB room again, and we'll see how it all plays out. And there'll be certain players that certainly flash here, and we'll give them opportunities to run with the ones. While Kyler's out, and we'll see where it goes from there. But we have a lot of options from rookies all the way to some of these veteran players, the free agents that we brought in. I think we're gonna have a healthy competition.
Welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Chicago Bears. That was Bears head coach Ben Johnson presser yesterday, and man, oh man, get healthy. You can tell he's frustrated. And as we are frustrated, as I'm sure he's frustrated, I'm talking he being Kyler Gordon. It seemed like there was everything done right on his part and I was a little harsh on him. He stayed here in the offseason under the tutelage and the careful eye of the Bears training staff. So he just tweaked his calf. Okay. I don't think it's very serious. They don't, from what my understanding, from what I'm hearing, it's not very serious. Okay. And like I said, if he's out a week and comes back next week and plays the majority of the games, this will all be water under the bridge. It won't be that important. Optics of it now is what makes it an issue for us. So we're going to talk to my guy about the optics of my man being out again after he signed that huge contract before in the offseason last year, and then only ends up playing 3 games. All right? You can get ready. Sit back, relax, strap it down, because my man's in them. You can find him on Twitter at True Glenn Morgan. Guys, just welcome back to ShawnSierraSports. My man's in them, Glenn Morgan. Glenn, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me okay?
We hear, yes, loud and clear.
Yes, fantastic. I wasn't sure if the audio was going to be working. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. How you been?
Good. Busy over here, doing a lot of stuff, prepping for the season.
Of course.
So, I'm fired up. The football is back. How are you holding up on your end?
It has been a journey. It's been a journey. A lot of stuff going on, man, but we're coming through it, and we're seeing daylight at the end of a very long and arduous tunnel. And, hey, football season's right around the corner, man. It's the best time of the year for me. All the speculations are valid, both collegiately and professionally. I get to voice my opinion, and I'm not wrong yet.
Yet being the operative word.
Exactly.
So let's talk about what I was talking about right before you came on. All right. Kyler Gordon.
Yeah. All
right. The nickelback extraordinaire when he plays. All right. After signing a massive extension last offseason before the season last year, goes on to play 3 games last year, and now is on the PUP list for a calf. Talk to me about your concern with this injury.
I am concerned, and I know everyone's saying it's nothing just yet, and I'm not saying they're being disingenuous. I think they're being hopeful, and they're trying to be positive with that sense of hope that, hey, it's just nothing. But when you have an athlete who has continuous injury issues, and those that tend to plague him, for continuous weeks throughout a season, has been continuous seasons, any kind of injury, even soft tissue injuries, are things of a concern for me, because of what we've seen in the NBA the last maybe 5 to 7 years. When you have calf injuries, sometimes those end up leading to Achilles injuries and other issues, because once one area is affected, the other areas try to compensate, and they overcompensate, creates cavalcade of issues. And so with Kyler's concerns, injury wise, it's issuematic. And so, yeah, I am concerned, and it's a pivotal position in today's NFL. And when he is on the field playing for the Bears, they are a much better defense, especially on the back end. Even though that's the strength of the Bears as a unit, having Kyler, having his skill set, having him on the field is integral to the success of the Bears defense.
It really is. I bet as frustrated as we are, and as frustrated as Kyler is, I would say the most frustrated guy is Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen mentioned him early in the press conference last year. I think he was excited to deploy this guy in a multitude of ways. Yeah. And when he played last year, he was, and you imagine what could have been had Kyler played a majority of the games. How many more games Dennis Allen could have played around with using the DBs? How much more effective he would have been as a defense? Maybe we wouldn't have had to have had so many comebacks if he was playing. There's a whole bunch of ifs. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of possibilities if he has. But I know Dennis Allen's got to be super frustrated because he came here excited about working with this young guy, mentioned him, singled him out in his introductory press conference, then has 3 out of 17 games.
Yeah, well, Ryan Poles also alluded to as well, when he's out, when injuries affect, a certain player and or a unit, other people have to maneuver themselves and learn other positions that they may not necessarily be situated for, or you want to put the players in the best position to succeed. And when you can't put your player in the position that he's acclimated to, or what he's therefore he has to learn something else, and that's not his strength. His versatility may not be his strength, whatever that athlete is, where that position is. It affects, as a domino effect, everybody else. And we saw a lot of that last year with the Bears defense. The Bears were not very good against the run. The Bears were not very good against, stopping teams from rushing into the end zone. A lot of things with the run defense were a problem. A lot of things with pressure being created were issues. Does that all fall on Kyler? No. But when injuries happen, because it wasn't just him, Adeyembo was hurt. You had Edwards was hurt. You had other players that were banged up, and so you saw Dennis Allen just last year just trying to, you know what? I'm going to put it in the blender and see what kind of smoothie comes out. No, that's too chunky. Let me take that out. Let me try something else. He kept trying so many different combinations because he had to. And that doesn't make him look as good as he can possibly be, or him be as effective as he has been historically, because you're dealing with a rash of injuries, or certain key positions are affected because of an injury. And so you come into the season, you hear a lot of what the Bears coaching staff was said, a few months ago, where it's like, we're going to coach everybody better and get them better. It's like, part of it's like, well, were we really as bad as we were last year because we were bad? Or were we not as healthy as we could be? We're learning a new system. Everyone's out of place. And that's how we started the season, So you're already starting, at a deficit. You're trying to play catch up at a professional level when everyone's coming after you in a very difficult division. Everybody was over 500 in this division. So there's no easy games, really. You know what I'm saying? So you come into the season after last year, you're saying, you know what? Health. And then you start already talking about one of your key elements possibly not being there at the beginning of the season or at the beginning of training camp. And you're not really being for certain how that's going to play out over a 17 weeks, schedule. So yeah, it's an issue. I'm concerned. I think we all should be somewhat concerned because, of who he is and the defense that's obviously an area that needs to be better attuned if the Bears are going to make that Super Bowl run.
What about Montez Sweat? Montez Sweat went on the tummy ache list.
Explosive diarrhea. Yeah, I'm just saying explosive diarrhea is my answer to everything. If it's a tummy issue, explosive diarrhea.
Okay.
so no,
he shouldn't have stopped at Taco Bell. They told him.
No, leave the lettuce alone. Leave the lettuce alone, man. Leave that lettuce alone. They
told him.
What's the thing? Cycloplasma or whatever, cycloplural or whatever it is that's out there giving everybody explosive diarrhea. I'm not worried about tummy issues so much. Those are things that, they come and go. That's just part of living. You know what I mean? That's not really being an athlete. That's nothing to do with, you hurt yourself, you tweak something. If it was a back, or a calf, ankle, rotator cuff, something that affects what he needs to do on the field, physically, in terms of, sinew or muscle tissue, something like that, then I'd be concerned. But tummy issue, nah, man, drink some water, brother. Get out there. You'll be all right.
Yeah. I think they're being, someone mentioned earlier, they're being very cautious with their injuries. And I think it's a good thing that they are, because you have Kyler out, because you have, this guy Sweat has a little tummy ache. I think, and I don't want to say babying them. I just want to say they just want to make sure that they don't do further damage to these guys. Yeah. I think it's a good thing what they're doing, because as I said, I mean, let's keep it a buck. If Kyle comes back next Thursday and plays the majority of the season, this is going to be forgotten. You know what I mean? Until next year, they'll be like, "Oh man, remember that Kyler Gordon?" Because he'll probably be on a pup list next year. But it'll all be forgotten if he plays.
To your point, Brisker was the issue last year coming in because of the concussions. We weren't certain. Mm-hmm. Like, man, as physical as he plays, his style, is he going to last? 12 games, let alone 17 whole season. So, and then he's gone. So thank you. Goodbye. Yeah, it all depends, man. I think professional athletes, their professional lifespan, so to speak, and probably not the best term, but the length of their professional careers, pretty much in a sport like football, it's probably week to week, man. Month to month in terms, unless you're got the guaranteed money, and guaranteed years, which is really hard to get in football. You're pretty much, injury, you're week to week unless there's an injury. And then at that point, you're hoping that, you get out there sooner than later. So yeah. And then you look at Swift. I mean, he can't afford an injury. He's a running back who's getting older in the last year of his contract.
Yeah.
So he's motivated. That's not gonna be the issue.
Yeah.
But he's gonna have to be healthy. So that means that playing the position, high impact position like running back, he's gonna have to be smart about his body, his career, all those things throughout the season. So, is that ankle injury because he's a player that is explosive and he's really better than most players in the league with his lateral agility, his ability to move side to side. If he has an ankle issue, do I go back out there and then maybe make it worse? Because ankles, those are tricky, man. Those are funny. And it's not, it's not that he's not motivated. He wants to be out there, but he's got to be smart. Maybe I need to give it another week, give it 2 weeks, give it 3 weeks before I get out there. Meanwhile, a team's, 1 and 2 while you're gone, and everyone's looking at you like, man, we only ran the ball 3.4 yards a carry. Thanks, bro. It's just like, that's tough, man. That's a tough spot to be in. So yeah, I think you're right. The Bears brass are trying to make sure they can do whatever they can to make sure these guys are as healthy as they can be before the season begins. Because again, football is an attrition sport. You're going to have injuries. That's why depth is so important. That's why when you draft, you want to make sure you draft the young guys that can fill in and they don't cost as much.
Initially,
initially the veterans, as opposed to the veterans that you have in place or the veterans that you got via free agency. So yeah, man, it's 6'7", baby. It's just it's all this stuff.
Well, I mean, the running back room is good. Kyle Monungai stepped in last year as a rookie, busted a $165, $175 against Cincy. They're like, oh, DeAndre, you got another week. Let's take our time with this. And DeAndre's like, oh no, hold on, player. So that goes to your point about drafting. Drafting and developing. You drafted a young man who, I loved him because I didn't know anything about him. And then when they drafted him, I'm like, who's this? I'm like, oh, damn. Well, he led the Big Ten in rushing 2 seasons ago. I think he was second last year. I'm like, that's big boy football. That's big boy football. And he had fumbles since high school. I'm like, hold on, player. Yeah. Like, I know Rutgers is not a football school, but you're playing the Michigans, you're playing the Ohio States, you're playing the Michigan States, you're playing the Maryland, you're playing, all these schools. Just because your school isn't a powerhouse, you're still in a conference where you're playing powerhouse Sunday, soon to be Sunday players. And for you not to fumble,
right? Well, to your point, you're not that team. So every team is a powerhouse against you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of Purdue, every team is a powerhouse against you. So yeah. I wasn't surprised I'm a nun guy. I got a chance to check him out doing some stuff over a Big Ten Network. I got a chance to check him out his last year there. And when the Bears picked him, I was like, solid pick, because again, in my mind, I'm seeing, okay, we got Ben Johnson. I'm like, okay, he's going to be David Montgomery. He's playing that role. He's a banger. He's an inside the tackles running guy. Okay. And he doesn't fumble the ball. I'm like, yeah, he's solid. I'm like, yeah, that's a good pick. It's just a matter of how quickly he picks up. Plus, he was pretty good in pass pro, even in college, and he's pretty good
in pass pro. Yeah.
And he's pretty decent with his hands. So I'm like, yeah, they're getting a player who should be, on the field by October routinely. And that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't play a lot the first month and a half, and then boom, Cincinnati. Whoa, hold on, player. Look what we got. So yeah, it's good. Talk to me about speaking of the run game, the left tackle position. All right, it's a situation where you have 2 guys coming back who are completely healthy, Braxton Jones okay, was coming off an injured ankle last offseason.
Right.
So he couldn't train. He was rehabbing and he wasn't training.
Yeah.
Jedrick Wills is a guy who was a former first round out of Alabama who sat out all of year.
Right.
And he was noted in the press conference. It said 10 pounds of lean muscle mass, which means he changed the composition of his body. Your thoughts on that left tackle position? Who do you think is going to get the run with the ones first? Who do you think wins it out overall? Because that is a key part of the offensive line.
My answer to you is eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If I hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. My mother told me to get the very, very best left tackle, so out you may go. I mean, dude, it's
as scientific as anything I've heard.
Exactly.
Counting for all variables.
Great question. And I mean, that's the $64 billion question. I mean, the easy answer is who's the healthiest, who seems to look the best at practice. That's going to be your pat answer. But looking into it, and I was really thinking about that, man. I've been thinking about it all, off season and then recently as well. And here's the funny thing. Here's the thing. I'll say this. I'm not worried about the left tackle position.
Okay.
I'm not, because we saw what happened last year where they had to really try to figure it out. And we knew less. Right. And we knew less about everyone outside of Braxton, who we weren't feeling great about what we knew, So I think you have a competent answers to whatever your game plan is going to be week to week. The Bears, as much as we talk about Caleb, as much as we are effusively happy and just so much joy as Bear fans that we have a passing attack, the word attack and passing using the same sentence with the Bears. We're happy we can do that now. We can make these sentences and feel good about it and not be disingenuous. It's really a run first team. And Ben Johnson would probably tell you that. And the reason why the play action has to work well, because they do that so well, is because of the running game. And we saw how good the running game was last year. So to that point, the Bears, all three of these left tackles, Trapillo is probably the least athletic, and I'm basing athleticism in terms of agility and not so much just power or size, but your agility and, laterally and how explosive you can be, off the hike. And he's not bad. And he was looking like he was going to be the answer at left tackle going forward. That being said, the other three are very agile. They're very athletic when healthy, and these guys can move. And when you have a running attack, an offense that's basing a lot of its attack through its physicality, being able to run the ball, I'm looking at attacking left tackles, and I think you can implement that with the maneuverability of any one of those four. I think Trapillo is going to be the one to take a little bit longer to get healthy because of the severity of his injury and how late it happened in the season. So I think they're all competent at being able to run block, the three that are going to be there. I think they're very athletic, and so they can move their feet. Braxton had to get stronger in terms of his pass protection, but it wasn't so much that he couldn't get there. He just couldn't sustain the block. So hopefully he's gotten, his adult strength now, and he's able to do that a little bit better.
Grown man strength.
The old man strength, right? So I'm not concerned. I think the coaching staff, I think the way the offense is constructed, I think Ben Johnson being who he is and has been as offensive coordinator and play caller, and not only that, but don't forget, we just drafted a third tight end, so we may see some 13 personnel out there. I think the left tackle situation, we just won't have the pillar at left tackle, but I think we'll be fine at left tackle. And I think we'll be fine because we saw us be fine last year. It wasn't like, Caleb was running for his life because the left tackle kept breaking down,
Right.
And then we got Caleb, who has an ability to be an escape artist. So I'm not worried about the left tackle position. It's just it's going to be a battle to see who gets the starting thing. But week 2 or 3, the other guy may go in. I look at it this way: we might have the most deep or the deepest left tackle rotation in all the NFL. That could be a good thing. That could be a weird thing. I don't think it's a bad thing, though. I think it's just something that it's unusual and uncomfortable because you don't have that one you can point to, but it's not a quarterback. You know, when you don't have the one quarterback, that's a problem. But positions interchangeable. We have depth now. I look at it. We have depth. We have competent players at left tackle. I'm good with that. I think it's. I'm not saying it's much to do about nothing, but I think to over focus on it is not taking into consideration what the Bears accomplished last year with a new offensive system and new players that we didn't know what they were going to look like. And now you've got some continuity coming back. And I think they'll just be better. I think they'll be more fortified on the left end. I really do.
The part about it is you mentioned depth. You know, we're not used to that. There's always been a big drop off from starter to backup.
Yes.
All right. And here you got a guy who's a 5th round pick out of Southern Utah who's made, 40 something starts in the NFL in his career. Okay. Which that alone is an amazing story. But then you also have a guy coming off an injury who has the Southern Utah kids coming off an injury as well. But now you also have a guy who is a former 1st round pick out of Alabama. Now, that dude took all of last year off to heal his body. So he is back 100%, which excites me because now you're going to see the best version of Jedrick Wills. Okay. Mm-hmm. This guy understands my football career is hanging in the balance here. Right. Okay. I hope Jedrick wins. Okay. Because I think if Braxton Jones backs him up and gets spot time here or there, he'll get another job. He'll get, man, there could be mugs lining up for that joker because of what he's already put on tape.
Right.
Give me a 1st round left tackle because there's something about to get drafted in the 1st round special. To get an offensive lineman to get drafted in the 1st round is really special. To be an offensive lineman to be drafted in the top 10 is very special. You have a lot of traits. If we can get him back to that, I'd be extremely happy. Now we got our guy. He's not going to be as expensive as he would if he had continued to play. So I hope Jedrick Wills wins it. And I wish Braxton Jones the best in his future endeavors because he ain't gonna wait long. He ain't gonna be on the street for long. He definitely is not gonna be on the street for long.
Yeah. So to your point, and that depth on the offensive line, and particularly at that position NFL, can you say trade midseason if you need something?
Yeah,
it gives you that flexibility as well. So yeah, man. I think the concerns I have with the Bears have literally almost zero to do with the offense in any capacity. I mean, yeah, Odunze, I don't like hearing the talk that it's a new normal, but okay, so maybe you're not the explosive guy. Maybe you're the guy that gets the 10-yard digs. Your guy goes across the middle. You're the end zone threat. You still got your height. You still can catch the ball. You're not the burner, but that's fine. You're the possession guy. Okay, well, we've got other guys.
The burners. We're good.
Yeah, we got other guys, and I don't mind that. And I like having height in my receiving core. You got the 3 tight ends. There's height there. So the other guys are not as tall. So keeping the Dunze and having them be effective in the red zone, that's fine. He and Caleb still have a connection. There's still synergy there. So I'm not worried about the receiving core. And then, he's going to be playing to try and get his contract picked up, as far as which I don't think the Bears will have to see. It's definitely going to be a wait and see thing as how the season progresses. But even if that's let's say worst case scenario. And I love the young man. I think he's, integrity personified. If it doesn't work out here in Chicago, and again, I think he can find somewhere else, in the NFL. There's so many receivers coming out every year that by the time next year rolls around, the receivers we got last year will be old veterans going into their 3rd year. So you still have that continuity, and you can bring someone in who can fulfill whatever Odunze may not have been able to provide, if that's the case. And I'm not wishing that on him. I'm just being pragmatic, because when you think as a GM at times, I'm not saying I'm one, although those are my initials. When you think as one, you're thinking a couple of years ahead. You really do. You have to do that. So yeah, I'm not worried about anything offensively. Offensive line, good depth. Center, I think you've got great depth. It's in an area that's been a problem for the last 20 plus years. You have really good depth there.
Two areas that have been a problem: center and left tackle. We have great depth. How crazy is that? As we're talking about that being a strength as a Bears fan, that's out of this world for me.
Right. So as a Bears fan, what we have to get used to is our defense ain't so good, man. and the offense is going to have to carry the defense. And the offense is going to have to be, and I think this is going to be a very aggressive offense. I really do. Very attack-oriented offense, very aggressive. Everything from last year, just, that gives you the indication that that's what it's going to be. You look at our head coach and, he's taking his shirt off. He's calling people out when he gets his job. He's not shaking hands, or he's shaking hands for all the little traits you do that he's done that we see him do lets you know that this offense is going to take on his personality. You know what I mean? Very Gruden-esque, maybe minus a racism. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's go ahead. So, but
oops, where's the lie? Oops,
right. Am I wrong? So the defense, however, that's something in Chicago. It's like, wait, our offense is the thing, and our defense is not. Like, what planet, but what Marvel universe, what world am I on? This
is bizarre. This is out of Superman. This is Bizarro world.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We say it's not good, and contextually speaking, sure, in a lot of ways it isn't. But damned if they weren't opportunistic, And again, I think this defense will take on the personality of Dennis Allen as well, and that's going to be a defense that comes at you in a variety of ways. And they're going to have to be a little bit more creative, but that's fine. I think they understand that, and I think as the years progress next year, and as you keep building, I think you'll see the defense catch up to where the offense is. And in today's NFL, you don't have to have a top 10 defense to win. It helps. It really does. Don't get me wrong. I think defense, from that mantra, defense wins championships. We've seen it even recently, how the Eagles took out, Mahomes in the most recent Super Bowl that those two guys, those two teams played each other against. We saw what Seattle did last year as well. So defenses, it's important, but do you have to have a top 10 to win a Super Bowl, to be a playoff caliber team? No, you don't, especially if you have a really, really, really good offense. Because your really, really good offense, what it can do? Make it easier on your defense. If you're up by 2 scores, your defense has to be as good against the run, which we weren't. So that's that thing where where you're saying you're playing complementary football, and sometimes a compliment is I have to help you up a little bit more in this area until you can stand on your own a little bit more, in a solid fashion. So I think going in, it'll be like it was a little bit last year. The defense probably, you won't really get an understanding of who they are in a 2026 Bears defense until probably like mid-October. I think that the offense is going to have to carry him, and we're going to need that defense because the second half of the schedule is pretty tough. Those last 8 games, I think 6 of those are against teams that were in the playoffs, I believe, or if not in the playoffs, playoff caliber, and several of those I think are on the road. So you've got Green Bay, Buffalo, Jacksonville. We don't know what the Saints are going to look like this year. Everyone's predicting them to be a little bit better. The Lions are always going to be tough, and you're playing them twice in that second half. And the Vikings, again, you're talking all those teams with the exception of Miami and the Saints were over 500 last year with their records. So, and then the first half, you got the 2 teams that played in the Super Bowl. so but that back half, if your defense is like a top 15 defense, like say between 12 and 17, something like that, and you got a really good offense, I think those games are ones where your defense won't be the liability that we think it could be. I think it'll be something that, maybe it's not 3 and out, but maybe a team gets 2 or 3 series, but they don't score. The Bears hold them to a field goal. And then when the Bears score a touchdown, that puts the pressure back on that other team. And then the defense can, be a little bit better because now they don't have to worry about one thing as opposed to 2 things.
You guys, we're joined by Glenn Morgan, Chicago Bears football and NFL draft analyst. We're talking Bears football here on ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. Obviously, the end all be all starts with and ends with Caleb. Caleb had a good year last year. Just missed 4,000 yards. Just missed getting the Bears to the NFC Championship game. Your
I don't
thoughts?
agree with you. I don't agree with you. He did not miss 4,000 yards. He passed for over 4,000 yards.
Well,
that drop rate from all them damn receivers dropping the ball, I'm gonna let you excuse all those damn drops. Man, probably would have had about 4,100 yards passing.
Not 41. He would. Yeah, I'd say 45. But
yeah,
statistically, statistically, he was short. What do you expect from him this year? What do you want? What do you want to see from him? Because Ben was adamant yesterday about that 70% completion ratio. What do you want to see from this young man this year? Because as you said, if this offense is going to have to hold the fort down, it's like a marriage. It's never really 50-50 because it's always, and this is from a married, but like you got to do more. Like, okay, I got to do more today. Tomorrow, you do more today. It's just, you got to pick up wherever it needs to be, whatever it needs to be done in that situation. And it looks like for the most part, the offense is going to have to do the heavy lifting to start the season so the defense can get up there. So what do you want to see out of Caleb Williams, who's an extreme talent? What do you want to see from him moving forward to start the season?
You said like a marriage. You ain't getting me caught up, bro.
From my interactions and talking with my married friends is why I use that.
He's right, folks. 7,500 yards total offense from Caleb, 1,500 rushing, 6,000 passing minimum.
Excellent.
85% completion percentage.
The more you say that, Shorty here is just getting very, very excited the more you talk like that.
Realistically, I'm looking for about 4,200 yards passing, on my floor, I guess you would say, ceiling 4,500, about 4,200, because keep in mind, again, it's not just about him passing the ball. It's when you pass, the efficiency and the effectiveness of it. Again, it's a running based offense. I still want my running backs to run the ball. If you're running well, there's no need to pass. You have a lead, you're not passing the ball. So you got to factor in those things too when we're talking about the accumulation of yards, statistically speaking. But more effective is I'm more concerned about, because I could care less how many yards you pass for. How many touchdown passes are you throwing? How many interceptions are you giving up? If you're giving me 35 plus touchdown passes with 7 or fewer interceptions, and I got a 5-to-1 ratio, I'm good, man. That's what I want. If you're toting a rock about, maybe 250 yards to 300, and he was like 388, I think, last year, because you're avoiding sacks, not because it's necessarily a design run, but you're running effectively, you're sliding, you're getting out of bounds, you're keeping the chains moving, and you got 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns to go along with that. And you're completing, let's say, I don't think jumping from 58 to 70 is necessarily going to happen. But if you go from 58 to what probably should have been about 62 last year, you can go to some 62 to like 65, or you can be from 58 to 65. I'm good with that, or 64 point something. I think that's good for this year, and then you keep building on that. But I don't want him passing for 5,000 yards. That means we're behind and we're not running as effectively. The running game's got some issues. I don't need him to be Drew Brees. I don't need him to be Dan Marino. I don't need him to be any kind of super passer in that regard, because again, when Elway finally won the Super Bowls, and granted he was 75 years old when he won both of them, but when he finally won his Super Bowls, it was because he was being more efficient passing the ball, and Terrell Davis was toting the rock, and the defense was solid defense. You know what I mean? You look at Josh Allen; they were trying to get him to not pass as much last year. So you don't do as much. Patrick Mahomes, you're doing too much. Your body breaks down. You're wearing down. You're more susceptible to injury. He's coming off an injury, so
why they got Kenneth Walker III.
Yeah, there are these things. You look at what's happening in New England with Drake May, really great year, awesome year. And they got him an extra receiver, but they're still not trying to have him pass, 70% of the time. They probably want to have more like a 60-40 kind of balance, or maybe even
they want Travion Henderson to be a little more potent this year.
Oh, and he will be.
Yeah.
He will be. I doubt. I think he will be. You know, but so yeah, man. I think with Caleb, 4,200 to 4,500 every year, 30 plus touchdowns, but I think he can be 35 or more, you know, going forward for the next several years, and just keep those interceptions in the single digits. I think that's fine, because the defense is not. That means the defenses aren't knowing what you're doing. They haven't figured out how to stop. Not you haven't figured out how to stop the offense. And I think we get so caught up, and I understand it. We get so caught up in the individual accomplishments and achievements and physical attributes and all the superhuman and unbelievable plays that we see, that we think that should be the norm. And I'm like, it doesn't have to necessarily be. I mean, boring isn't necessarily bad. You know, effective is what you want to be. And that's what that whole offense is about. Because again, if Caleb goes down for any number of weeks, Tyson comes in, I'm not as worried, because when I see Tyson, I'm like, okay, you're Jared Goff. You're the Jared Goff in this offense. It's going to look with Jared Goff, because you have that kind of skill. You're that pocket passer that's like Jared Goff, and so you can be effective and efficient in this offense. So you can have a great talent, a great athlete, somebody that can make the impossible probable, like Caleb does, and that's great. And this offense can be explosive beyond all measure. But by the same token, you can have someone like Tyson Bagent, who can be precision, effective person who can, you know, matriculate the ball down the field, keep the sticks moving, and you still score. It just may not look as dynamic, but it's still as effective,
if not more effective. And that's the thing I said last year. That's the thing I'm going to say this year. I'm going to say it next year. And you use the word boring, and I use the word efficient. All right, when you can go like a Tom Brady, and Caleb doesn't have to throw the ball more than 15 yards, because he gets it to his guy, gets it to his playmakers. They run more than 15 yards, and it just again, and you know, one missed tackle, now it's a gain of 20. All right, you gain of 6, gain of 10, gain of 8, gain of 4. Missed tackle, gain of 16, all the way down. Turn around, hand the ball off, rushing gain of 6, rushing gain of all the way down. Those is, to use the boxing analogy, those are body blows. Those are body blows early in the game. And also, those are emotionally, those are killers. Because if that's what's going to happen, you're on third down, you're going to be converting, and defense is going to be like, oh, damn. When I was defensive coordinator, I remember like, stop him. We got great defense call, missed tackle. Oh! You know, now I got to start over again. And emotionally, psychologically, just to have that early on in the game only means good things at the end. And I'd love to see a whole bunch of 7-0 Bears lead, you know, after their first drive of every game, you know, by matriculating the ball down the field and not having a big explosive play. All right. We can save that for later when they're tired and, you know, and we just want to put them away. Right. That's what I know Caleb will have got, quote unquote, gotten it. Once you get it, that now Caleb's got it. Now he's got it. You just got Xavier Thomas. You got Rome. You got Luther Burden III. You got Colston Loveland. You still got Cole Kmet. You got Sam Roush. You still got DeAndre Swift. You got Calvin Unga. You have weapons. Let them do the work.
Right.
And you still get all the yards. You still get all the yards they run for. It's cool. So once I see him do that, then I'll know he got it. And then I'm going to say, y'all better be nervous. And the rest of the NFL better be nervous.
I think just to give people at home, if they haven't heard me say it before, an idea of what this offense may look like. Because again, you know, a lot of us were scratching our heads when Rouse was taken out of Stanford as high as he was, you know, it was the third round, I believe. So we're like, you know, then, you know, Thomas was taken in, you know, the fourth round. It's like, what are we doing here? You know, like, you know, people are getting concerned. I'm like, I started thinking about it. I'm like, this offense is probably going to be as effective and devastating in a lot of ways as the Falcons offense was the year that Matt Ryan won the MVP. They lost that Super Bowl when they were crushing New England. Kyle Shanahan just got crazy. I don't know what happened. He got possessed by something else, or they did an exorcism, and I don't know what happened. This is some weird stuff.
28-3.5 and lose.
Bro, I don't know. and dominating. It wasn't even close. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, like New England can't. But I remember the NFC Championship game, before that when they played the Packers and they destroyed them. And they were doing a lot of 13 personnel. I mean, granted, you got Julio and he's a difference maker, but the tight ends weren't as athletic or as explosive as our tight ends. Their quarterback is not as athletic or as explosive as our quarterback is. The running backs are probably about equal. Offensive line is probably relatively about equal. But if you remember how that offense was, I'm like, man, how are 3 tight ends? How's a passing game working with 3 tight ends? Like, how are you threw for 300 yards with 3 tight ends? And what? Because everybody on the field can catch the ball. The running backs can catch the ball. All the tight ends can catch the ball. Julio can catch the ball. You got to respect him. But the tight ends can do what? Block. They can block downfield, extend your running game. Now your running game is going off, and so now your play action works, and those tight ends that were blocking, oh, wait, that's right, they can run and catch the ball.
And if you got a corner covering them, they got a mismatch because they're nine times out of 10, they're a lot bigger than a cornerback. And if they got a linebacker, 9 times out of 10, they're a little faster than a linebacker.
Right. So it gives yes. Right. To your point, it gives a really good play caller and creative mind leverage at every point, and then they can utilize that. And when the quarterback, and at that time, Matt Ryan had been in the league for 7-8+ years or whatever, so he's a veteran. And Kyle Shanahan, outside of that Super Bowl call, was, obviously is still one of the good play callers out there in the league. When you can marry the mental with the physical, and then you have the creative with the shrewd, and you can shrewdly design plays and call them, and you're creative, and you can see these things. The ability to manipulate what you want to do on the field, manipulate what defenses are doing, constantly keep them off balance. You're playing 3D chess, when everyone else is trying to figure out what game they should even play. Is it backgammon, checkers? What is he doing out there? You're at a different level, and I think that's what we're going to see this Bears offense really start to do this season. And if they can keep a lot of some of these same elements, even if it's not the players, but the same type of elements in this offense going forward, Caleb will probably be, I don't want to put that on him, but let's just say Caleb will have a very, very successful career in Chicago, can see some things that in our lifetime we've never seen from an offensive standpoint ever.
I agree with you. Because the thing with what Ben's doing, he's stacking the game. Oh, yeah. Where, okay, I'll go 13 personnel, 1 wide out. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to go nickel? Guess what? We're going to run. You want to go base? My tight ends are going out. Now we're going to pass, and my tight ends are going to be leaving your linebackers. Or if you still want to go nickel, I'm going to still run. I could still have my tight ends go out and pass and catch passes because they're bigger than your DBs. That, to me, I love that aspect of it. He can say whatever you do literally is wrong. Whatever you do won't work. And Ben, I've said it before, we have to get used to when we draft now, drafting, realizing the people that they select might not always be the best person at that specific position. Got the best running back or the best tight end or the best. They pick people specific for the role that they're going to play here.
Sure.
So the fourth wide receiver might be the best slot receiver for our offense. Might not be the best, you know what I mean? And people don't understand that. They're like, which is why they're like, why did he get Colson Loveland last year? Well, shit, he was in Michigan. He had a front row seat of him at the University of Michigan. And everyone's like, take Tyler Warren. He's the best. But he's like, no. This is my offense. This guy would be better. And what happened? He let us in rush. You know what I mean? Then he goes to get Xavier Thomas. Like, he's a reach. All of a sudden, Xavier Thomas, they show like, whoa, this guy can actually run a route tree. And he runs a blazing, world-class track speed 40. Hold on, players. So we as a fan base have to get used to them picking specific guys, the guys who fit our system, Ben Johnson's system or Dennis Allen's system perfectly. Not what the experts and the pundits say, oh, he's the best running back, he's the best this, he's the best that. For our system, he might not be the best. This guy is, and that makes our systems, our offense, defenses even better because we're hand selecting those guys who might not be, according to draft pundits, atop of the boards, and that's what I love, and that's what I'm excited about.
And to your point, yeah, and I think that's what pretty much I'll say 85 to 90% of NFL teams do anyway. They're picking players based upon how they think they'll fit, and so that's why when you see a draft, some guys are picked at certain spots. You're like, why did that happen? Because the team is doing exactly what you said. Well, this guy fits what we want to do. It may not be what you think, and whether it works or not, there's so many mitigating factors, variable health, this, that, and the other. But that's what happened. And again, so to your point, you look at what the Bears, since Ben Johnson has been here, it was just 2 drafts, but you look at the type of players that they're drafting, not just physically, but also, their composure, their approach to the game, their mentality, their psychological aspects to how they see themselves and how they can implement their talents integrate their talents into the offense or the defense. And so you look at Roush and you're like, yeah, well, he's a good blocker, pass catchers. He's not 4.5. He's not Kyle Pitts running a 4.4, 4.5, but his 4.6 is really good, and he can catch the ball downfield and he can block, and he's pretty smart. So when the plays have to be called and audible at the line, and all of a sudden now instead of him being in line, he's off the line, and now Colson's in line. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to have that quickness of mind to be able to make those adjustments and learn. Keep in mind, who do we count on down the stretch? By we, I'm inserting myself as Bear Nation. Who do we count on down the stretch? Colson, Loveland, and Luther Burden, 2 rookies. And you just mentioned it. Colson led in receptions and yards. And Luther was like, hey, I'm picking up the slack. DJ's a little banged up. I'm picking up the slack. And then Kyle Monangai. Oh, and by the way, our left tackle was supposed to be the right tackle because that's when he played in college, and now he's a starting left tackle. And he's the 3rd or 4th guy who took that position. So he wasn't even the guy to start at the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? You're talking to 4 rookies at left tackle, key position, running back, integral to Ben Johnson's offense, and the tight end, super integral to Ben Johnson's offense, and your other receiver who can play the X, the Y, or the Z. Hello? You have to have the wherewithal, the commitment, the dedication, the psychological approach, the mental fortitude, and the discipline to be able to be effective in this, what is now the Bears, offensive organization and the defensive organization too, the franchise as a whole. So you look at the players that they drafted, and when you start to take all those things that we just talked about in terms of the mental, the physical, and production and what have you, and then you start thinking about them being implemented in certain areas and how that integration is going to work, you look at the draft a little differently. You're like, you know what? That's a solid ass draft, man. They did some things. Yeah, was it perfect? No, you still need some interior line on the defensive help, be it in the interior, and you also need an edge, that edge rusher that we can say, like, dude, this dude's a guy. Okay, man, everybody can't get everything all the time at the same time.
Not in one draft.
No, maybe not even in 2 drafts. It may take 3 or 4 and some free agency. But what did you draft? What were you able to bring into the organization, and how's he going to fit in? So when you look at the linebacker from Arizona State, you're like, yeah, I can see him. He's got a little TJ Edwards in him, but he's a smart player. He's never out of position. Okay, he's gonna be a player. He's gonna be playing a lot. You look at Malik out of Texas. You're like, yeah, he's got that length. Dennis Allen likes that length, and Deshaun Wright's not here anymore. He can do some Deshaun things, but he's got a little versatility. He can be in the slot. I can kind of see. Look at Thieleman. I'm like, oh man, dude. Like, I was all over the safety. You know me. I was like, dude, the Bears are taking the safety at the first pick. Now I thought it was a cat out of Toledo. I was high on him, right? Because I thought Thieleman had been gone. That's the reason why I was high on the cat from Toledo. I thought the Vikings were going to take Thieleman. I really did.
Everyone and their mama thought the Vikings were going to take him to replace Harrison Smith.
Right, but the Vikings said no. In our system, we need the front 4 to be whatever. So, okay, thank you. So we take Thieleman, and you look at the secondary now, and he's going to probably be, the one rookie probably starting day 1. But now Dennis Allen's like, I can disguise stuff because I've got safeties that can do everything. They can support the
cover.
run, they can cover, they can catch. Because why? Because they both have cornerback ability playing safety.
Yeah.
So you look at what the Bears are drafting, you understand that's like, okay, this is a type of mold casting. And I remember having an argument with a friend of mine, on back in the NBC days, and having an argument, and it was like, your organization needs to start. How you're doing well as an organization when the guys get off the bus and you're like, you can understand what they're looking like. You're not wondering like, well, how does that fit? How does this fit? You can start to see, oh, this type of player fits here. Like with the Steelers all these years, like every year they seem to get the linebacker they needed. They let one go in free agency, get another one walk right in because they know what it looks like. The Ravens are doing the same thing. They keep getting these great safeties, keep getting these great linebackers, great defensive linemen. Why? They know what it looks like. We're seeing the beginning parts, the origin story of this new iteration of the Bears. We're starting to see it at this level where, okay, this ground level, this is what it's starting to look like. This is what it's starting to look like. And to some degree, just look at what the Lions were for a few years when Ben Johnson was there.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking similar, but it's going to be different. But you see some similarities, and you can start saying, okay, you're playing the role of this person.
Such and such. Yeah. Who do you think? Do you think, not who, do you think this class of rookies will have a similar impact this year than last year's class of rookies? Because no one expected Kyle Monangai to do what he did. A lot of people said, okay, Colson could be good. All right, he's one of the top. It was definitely Tyler Warren was the presumptive number one tight end, and Colson Loveland was behind him, but no one expected him to do that. No one expected Luther Bird to do what he did. Ozzie Trapillo comes in, and he doesn't start. But then we got Malik Muhammad, who, if Kyler Gordon does Kyler Gordon things, he might not be on the field very long. And you got Malik Muhammad, who might be able to step in. Do you think this rookie class can be as impactful? And if so, how many do you think will be impactful or could be impactful this year?
Here's what's crazy, man. As you asked that question, and I hadn't really thought about it being phrased like that until you placed it. So I actually think I expect more from this group starting out than I did last year. I thought Luther would contribute. I thought Colson would contribute if healthy. I knew Monangai would be solid because, again, like I said, I knew what the Bears were getting when they drafted. Trapillo, I was like, who, what, why, and why? How come? So I think Roush is definitely, he was so targeted by Ben Johnson. So yeah. He's going to play a lot. I think Xavier, it'll be maybe not a lot of time, but when he's out there, it's going to be a little guy carrying a big stick type kind of thing. Because if he's so explosive, it's going to be a leverage play whenever he's out there. And and when he gets the ball in his hands, dynamic things will happen. I think when I look at Malik, whether or not he plays in the slot a lot, I don't know. But I think he'll be out on the field so much that he'll be in positions to make plays. And with the Bears are doing things where they have a lead and teams have to pass more, I think you'll see him out there more. He'll be that fifth defensive back out there. I think you'll see him out there. And because of his length and his ability to read and react, I think I wouldn't be shocked if he leads the team in interceptions. It might be something like 3 or 4, but I wouldn't be shocked because he'll be out there in the right place at the right time. And the other players making plays around him, he'll be the beneficiary of that. I think Thielemann is someone that'll be starting day one. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if he's leading the team in some category, whether it's pressures, whether it's, sacks from the secondary, whether it's turnovers, combined turnovers, like 3 forced fumbles, 2 recovered and 4 intercepted, whatever it is, he's going to be impactful. So I'm actually expecting a lot. I'm even expecting the last pick, the Afrikaner out of Georgia Tech. I'm expecting him. Yeah, I'm expecting him to get out on the field and do a little something. Now, will you make big plays consistently? No. But I think that interior of the Bears defensive line is still a bit of a question mark to me. And if there's an injury or two, he may get out there. But I really expect like the first 4 or 5 picks, I expect it to be a little bit more impactful. And because there are other players who have been in the system a year already. Them knowing what they're doing is going to help these guys be able to slide in and not have as much pressure on them to perform, which will allow them to be able to perform, I think, a little bit sooner, more comfortably, and more effectively as the season progresses.
Guys, he's Glenn Morgan, NFL and Chicago Bears draft analyst, talking Bears football. Man, thanks a lot, buddy. I really appreciate it. That was great. You know, me and you we can talk for another 2-3 hours on Bears.
It's only been 20 minutes. What are you talking about? That we had more.
Hey, listen, do me a favor. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
For the most part, man, like I say, people like yourself, Shorty, and your guys' platforms, just type in the name. I may pop up on there. Unfortunately, my dear friend passed on. I was going to be on Stacey King's Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast, but unfortunately that transpired a couple of months ago. So unfortunately, no longer on those ways, but just surf out there, man. You'll see me out there. I'm going to be around, baby. I'll be out there.
Good. People want to see you. People, you know, my group loves you, man. They love. You saw everyone talking. Glenn's a man. So yeah, make sure you find him. Just Google him, True Glenn Morgan on Twitter, and make sure you find him and find out where he's going to be, so you could check him out and his excellent and perspective on Chicago Bears football.
And as the season rolls around, me and my guys with Easy Smoking the GM podcast will be getting going right back up next couple of weeks. So yeah, we're pretty much football oriented now. So
okay.
So yeah,
all
so
right.
get us out there as well.
Great stuff, buddy. We'll talk soon. Thanks again.
All right, man. Love you, bro. Appreciate you.
All right.
Peace out. Love you.
That's Glenn Morgan. I told you, there's four guys. That's my man's in them. It's Ken Davis, Glenn's one of them, Herb, and Emilio Bucks. Those four right now, my man's in them. He's in that group, man. I just love talking Bears football with him. And I know the chat loves talking when he talks Bears football with us, because his perspective is pretty damn dope. Pretty damn dope. Glad to have him. Great stuff. And if you missed any part of it, go back and check it out. All right, on YouTube. And I'm fired up, guys. I really, really am. All right, I'm expecting a lot. I'm really expecting a lot from Caleb this year. I want to see the growth. I need to see the growth. All right, hit the damn layups. Take what the defense gives you. Okay, I don't want 7 comebacks last year. Were awesome and amazing. I don't want 7 comebacks this year. All right, give me 2 or 3. I don't want 7. All right, I want us to do what's necessary early on, so we don't have to come back. We're not trailing. All right, Glenn and I talked about it. Get efficient. Get methodical. Okay, Tom Brady-ish. 5-yard pass here, 4-yard pass here, 10-yard pass here. Turn around, hand it off. Turn around, hand it off. Get those guys. Get the defense scrambled where they don't know where and the ball's coming out so quick that they're like, oh shit, oh damn. And I don't even need yards after the catch initially, especially on that first drive. Pass for 6, a slant, tackle right there. Boom. Turn around, run the ball, gain of 3. Third and 1. Now, quick out, gain of 4, first down, move the chains. This is what I want to see. I want to see defenses get so frustrated on opening drives. I want to see defensive coordinators be like, damn, this kid is taking everything we give him. We can't give him, you can't cover everything. We got to give him something, and everything that the teams give him, he's taking. And that's where, like I said, I told Glenn, that's when you know that Caleb got it. When he gets to that point, because teams are scared of playing him already. But when he gets to that point, and you know he got that cape in the closet, you know he can pull that joker out at any time, and he starts slicing and dicing you like a surgeon from jump, from the opening drive, mentally. Because, you know, to borrow an old phrase from Yogi Berra, he talked about baseball, but football is 90% mental, the other half physical. And mentally, you can go in there and say, here's what we got to do to this guy. But man, if he gets on the board early, even if we get the lead late, Now we gotta deal with that situation that we've seen 7 times already in his career this last year. I hope he understands how important it is for him to get to that point of being methodical, of being boring. Because once he gets that, woo, Charlie. King Booker World says Caleb is going to want to make his job easier, so I think he will check down more. I don't know if he want to make his job easier. I think Ben's going to be like, motherfucker, check down more. I think Ben's going to be, and the relationship that they have is dope where Ben can talk to him like that. And he responds. Caleb begged, remember, Caleb for hard coaching. No did he. He begged for it, to coach to be so tough on him. Well, watch what you ask for because you just might get it because Caleb got it. And Caleb thrived in that type of coaching environment. Thrived in it. So if Ben Johnson has been adamant about you hitting those checkdowns, you taking a 5-yard, taking a 4-yard gain. A 4-yard gain is much better than sitting back and being sacked for 5 or 6. It's a big 10-yard swing. Okay? And I think King Booker World says Coach Jay making him sit with him and watch every missed throw is my kind of crazy. You're damn right, because you know what? Here, you want your 4,000 yards? Guess what? Here's where you could have got it. 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 You bad mistake here, bad decision here, bad decision here. I need better decisions out of you. So when you see it, there's no hiding it. There's no, well, I didn't know. No. It's right there. Film doesn't lie. Film doesn't lie. And that was a great thing that he did doing that, because now if you can nip that in the bud and reduce those poor throws or those missed throws. The DJ Moore's underneath. The Luther Burden wide open. The Colson Loveland ahead of his man. You miss those throws. You eliminate those. Your completion percentage goes up. Your total yards goes up. The defense gets more and more frustrated and mentally and physically defeated. And now, come the end of the game, now you can have your way with it. So that was excellent coaching part. Hey, here's what you did. You had a good year last year. You could have had a great year last year had you done the simple things. Had you done the simple things, you might not have needed 7 comebacks. You might not have needed to put your Superman cape on so many times. Remember my coach, J.J. Wright, told me if you take care of the little things, there are no big things. Take a little 2-yard pass, because you know what? If a tackle is broken, now you got 4, 6, 8, 10, 15, 20. Who knows how many yards after catch there are after a 2-yard pass, a 5-yard pass? Who knows? And those still go on your stats, Caleb. Those still go on your stats toward your 4,000 yards. If that is what his improvement in this year, watch out. Watch the freak out. Because you're worried about him slicing and dicing you early. And if it's close or the Bears are in the lead, or you have the lead at the end, you know damn well, because you've seen it many a time, what he can do at the end. Listen, 2 hours is come and gone. I want to thank my man, Glenn Morgan, NFL and Bears draft analyst, for coming on, talking Bears football with us. Great, great stuff, as always. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Give me the love and the support that you guys give me every single week, every single show that I'm on. I truly appreciate it. All right, we got to get out of here. It's going to be a beautiful day here in the Chi. All right, a high of 83. Now, tell me that is a beautiful, perfect summer weather. 83. 83. 83 degrees. Beautiful, sunny day here in the Chi. Get out there, enjoy it. Make memories. Let your loved ones know you love them, because tomorrow is promised to no one. Right? I told you last week they had a gentleman from my CrossFit warehouse who passed away last Tuesday. All right? Passed out in the workout. They tried to defib him, took him to the hospital, pronounced dead. Boom, just like that. Okay? You don't know that we know not the time or the place. All right, so let's make the most of our remaining time here with our families, friends, loved ones. Okay, make memories. You'll be glad you did. All right, I will see you on Friday. You guys have a phenomenal weekend. We'll have more Bears coverage. Hopefully my White Sox can get off this little schneid that they are on, this 2-game losing streak to the Yankees. I'd like for them to take these last 2. It's going to be tough. The Cubs got to keep hitting. The Cubs got to keep doing what they've been doing, and it's tough because you dug yourself a hole, and now Milwaukee is basically mirroring you with your wins and losses, and you're 6 games behind. If they mirror you, there's no way that you're going to gain any ground. But that doesn't mean anything. Your main focus is get to the playoffs, and you'll be one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs. Teams are not going to want to face the Cubs in the first round. All right, so we'll have more discussion on that on Friday. I'm excited to talk about Bears football with you, Sox baseball, Cubs baseball, Kaner being back, Caleb Wilson, our first-round draft pick for the Bulls. Man, King Booker World, UN Lion, Chicago sports resurgence is on the horizon. All right, so listen, for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. You have a phenomenal day, but your boy is out.
Come on, race the race. Get back.